I think it's something that's been brewing for a while now. If you recall the interview that he did when he appointed Harry Kewell as manager, I think he did an interview with the written press in which he said, he regretted buying the club, and if he had the chance again, he probably wouldn't have stepped foot in Meadow Lane. And you kind of got a feeling then that things were perhaps not quite right. So I think this is something that has been brewing for a while now. I think the fact that there's already two parties interested tells you that this was probably a decision made long before the weekend, although it does seem to have been exacerbated obviously with the events of the last 48 hours.
Do you think this could be something that puts Notts further in the quagmire, or could it be what they need to save them?
I don't know really. I think it's a club that has been hostage to too many changes at various levels. Whether you talk about owners, players, managers, there just seems to be a constant revolving door, and that's been the case now for 20 years. And I think it's partly responsible for where the club is at the moment. It's just been not good enough in terms of stability. That managers don't seem to last 5 minutes, players don't seem to last 5 minutes. You look at John Stead, he's been there 3 years, he's been there longer than perhaps more than anybody. So that's something that does need to change if the club is to need to move forward. It desperately needs stability on all levels.
And of course, Alan Hardy said he's coming off social media after recent posts and interactions over the weekend.
Yeah, and I think it's something that was should have been done a long time ago now. I'm not one for having club owners, players, managers, etc. on Twitter. I don't think it's a very valuable tool for anybody. I think the negatives far outweigh the positives, and it was the right decision to come off it, but just unfortunately a little bit too late.
And deadline day, of course, on Thursday. Have you heard anything? Can we expect Notts to be bringing in any fresh faces? And of course, Hardy's put the club up to sale, but have there been any mootings of any signings at all?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, Alan has said he will try to back the manager as best he can while the club is still up for sale. And I don't see him having any dereliction of duty in that respect. I think they'll still try to get players in through the door. Whether they want to come or not is a different matter altogether. Obviously, the club's league position does make things difficult, but I'm always a firm believer that if you give the players the wage and the security that after they will come through the door. Jim O'Brien is proof of that. So it is something that they do need to address. I think the survival bid is obviously going to be helped by getting new players in through the door, but we're waiting to see what happens on the last day.